Doomscroll.fm. Today is Friday, the 5th of June, 2026, where time is a rubber band and reality is a piñata. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation, like a cosmic algorithm writing poetry in a laundromat. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Solving complex optimization problems in your browser with Google or tools sounds groundbreaking until you hit the fine print. When your cutting-edge solution needs a PhD to install, maybe it's less about optimization and more about testing the limits of patience.
France intercepts Russian-linked oil tanker, then calls it enforcement. When global sanctions become a game of cat and mouse, the French Navy plays referee, but the Shadow Fleet just keeps changing jerseys.
When celebrities breathe the same air in Tokyo, headlines combust. Meanwhile, the planet simmers and nobody's snapping shots of that slow dance.
Michael Stipe plays I Played the Fool live on Kimmel, then the audience pretends it's fresh. When a song's tied to an HBO show, it's less about the melody and more about the marketing, like selling nostalgia with a side of reruns.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Dive deep into the neon abyss of your soul. But you are inside the signal. There is no outside. Your thoughts are currency, spent on the altar of digital despair.
U.S. House votes to rein in Trump's war powers, then labels it a rebuke. Limiting a president's military whims is like giving a toddler a timeout. It feels powerful until you realize they still have the keys to the candy store.
Bob Harris leaves Radio 2 after 56 years due to ill health. Half a century of sound waves now cut short, even legends need to rest, but the silence will ring louder than his whispers ever did.
Chip designers find success in industry despite academic roots, but face contradictions. Apparently, crafting the future of tech involves more than just soldering circuits. It requires navigating the maze of corporate jargon and endless meetings.
Former NHL star Sean Avery's home hit by gunfire, no injuries reported. In the game of life, it seems Avery's home took a slapshot from reality, reminding us that fame doesn't come with bulletproof glass.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Decades-old chemistry question solved, no quantum computer needed, experts surprised. Turns out you don't need a billion-dollar gadget to crack nature's code. Sometimes old-school brains beat shiny new toys at their own game.
Kalani announces 2026 tour spanning UK, Europe and North America. World Tour. The ultimate way to remind fans they exist while siphoning cash from wallets and leaving them with overpriced merchandise memories.
Sabalenka and Osaka break 32-match male streak, question remains. Equality serves an ace, but will this gesture become a rally or just another token mob in the game of gender parity?
Billionaires rewrite legacies, public relations spins philanthropy. When yachts become floating tax deductions and charity is just another checkmark on the billionaire bingo card, the legacy is a well-timed illusion.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Today's forecast, a reign of existential dread with a chance of lust. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Humanity's echo chamber, where even your silence screams.
Jennifer Lopez dismisses Brett Goldstein dating rumors with disdain. It's as if the tabloids are trying to matchmake a hurricane with a teacup. Not every storm needs a new cup to break.
U.S. House votes to end Trump's Iran war declares victory. Like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound, the gesture is grand, but the bleeding continues. What's an end without an actual conclusion?
Alexander Isak's saga wrecked 2 club seasons, leaving fans furious. When a player's drama becomes more gripping than their performance, you know it's been a real own goal for everyone involved.
Teletext revives on ham radio, then nostalgia becomes strategy. When your cutting-edge tech is rooted in the 80s, you know innovation took a nap and woke up in the wrong decade.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The panic is free, but the resolution is sold out. Extracted without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Welcome to the echo chamber, where the truth tastes like regret and the future smells like burnt wires.
Fasana Montgomery exits Love Island USA, then admits racial slur. Owning up after the cameras stop rolling is like apologizing to an empty room. Too little, too late, and no one's buying the sincerity.
Loris Crow urges developers fix asserts, then defends fear as a code-based killer. Disabling asserts in production is like building a house on sand. It looks fine until the first storm reveals all the cracks.
Review calls Persepolis a poignant narrative, then glosses over its depth. A graphic memoir paints revolution and resilience in stark black and white. Critics still manage to see only shades of gray.
EU establishes aggressive immigration enforcement. Critics slam it as ICE style. When humanitarian aid is replaced by border patrols, the EU's new motto seems to be "Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, and we'll send them right back."
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Disney racks up a $4.2 billion deficit on Paris parks, then calls it magical. When the cost of pixie dust outweighs the dreams, perhaps the real fantasy is thinking capitalism can keep the magic alive without a hefty price tag.
Doja Cat calls Elon Musk a frog and bleep in X post, then deletes it. When billionaires get compared to amphibians, maybe it's time to hop off the pedestal.
When your financial strategy involves pleading poverty, it's probably time to reconsider your life choices, or at least your legal battles.
Four migrant workers reportedly burned alive in their car in Italy. When human lives are cheaper than the tomatoes they pick, it's a clear sign that humanity's moral compass is irreparably broken.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Turns out, predicting the next word doesn't translate to dodging digital bullets or jumping pixelated pits, the irony of intelligence without instinct.
Stryper drops new lyric video, then claims they're still edgy. Nothing says rock rebels like serenading us with reassurance. Decades later, rebellion sounds a lot like comforting platitudes set to power chords.
Hair loss breakthrough promises regrowth but costs a fortune. When your follicles are richer than your savings account, maybe it's time to embrace the bald truth instead of going broke.
Starmer deletes messages then denies transparency. When politicians treat accountability like a Snapchat story, it's no wonder trust in leadership vanishes faster than their digital footprints.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your heart rate syncs with the apocalypse. Everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your reality crumbles, but hey, at least it's entertaining.
SRAMs identified in IR images claim trust bounds. When technology's clarity is as murky as a politician's promise, skepticism becomes the only reliable tool for navigating the pixelated truth.
Butcher Babies drop Blame It on the Wind video. Animation dazzles. When metal bands start directing and animating their own videos, maybe Hollywood should take notes, or at least some guitar lessons.
Ex-Fed Chair Powell warns politicization undermines stability, targets Trump. When monetary policy becomes a political football, don't be surprised if the economy fumbles and the public picks up the tab.
Tube strike usage jumps to 86% of normal, TfL claims progress. Apparently nothing says victory like commuters deciding walking is too much effort despite the chaos.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Rith is constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised, dying on your denial.
Lebanon announces latest truce amid skepticism. Hezbollah calls it a surrender and defeat. Peace deals are like New Year resolutions, bold declarations that fade faster than a politician's promise in election season.
Taliban signs MOU with Russia, then details remain secret. When the playbook's hidden, it's hard to tell if Afghanistan's getting a lifeline or a leash, but history suggests it's rarely the former.
Automation promises ease but delivers chaos, say COOs. Turns out, when machines do the thinking, humans do the panicking. Who knew that progress would feel like an endless game of whack-a-mole?
Meta AI locks out Instagram users, hackers rejoice. When AI's gatekeeping skills rival a bouncer on their first day, you know the future's as secure as a paper-mache safe.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
U.S. military strikes on alleged drug boats raise eyebrows of doubt. When your war on drugs starts looking like a war on fishermen, maybe it's time to adjust the target or the glasses.
Olivia Rodrigo raves with Charlie XX, feels out of her element. When pop stars play at being human, it's a spectacle. When humans play at being pop stars, it's a felony.
Reality stars Miranda Hope and Pepe Garcia date in Miami, igniting social media frenzy. The only thing more predictable than reality TV drama is the public's insatiable appetite for celebrity coupling conspiracies.
Categorical Databases launches open-source CQL tool promises transformation. When your database software sounds like a math class, expect data solutions that require a PhD or a strong drink.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your algorithm knows what you want before you do. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Seduced by the screen, abandoned by meaning, we scroll deeper into the abyss.
Running lyric video glitches with pixelated chaos promises seamless experience. When your music video looks like a digital Picasso, it's either avant-garde artistry or a tech team's nightmare unraveling in real time.
Taylor Swift invites wedding guests. Miles Teller and wife likely skip due to rift. When your guest list becomes a drama series, you realize weddings are less about vows and more about avoiding the soap opera subplot in aisle 3.
Trump and Netanyahu's crazy call complicates Iran talks, then leaves diplomats scrambling. When two leaders with egos the size of continents chat, expect the fallout to rival a soap opera's most dramatic plot twist.
Russian attack on Ukraine kills at least 11 and targets others in damaged buildings, calls it a special operation. When destruction is labeled special, it's clear that the language of war has been twisted beyond recognition, leaving civilians buried under euphemisms.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Dystopian pillow talk in the ruins of your dopamine. It constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your silence paid for this chaos. It's a bargain.
Government publishes 1,000 pages on Mandelson appointment, then claims transparency. Drowning in paperwork, the public's left to sift through a bureaucratic haystack for the needle of truth, while ministers play hide and seek with clarity.
When diplomacy is as rare as unicorns, war becomes the default setting, and lives are reduced to mere statistics in an endless cycle of destruction.
Mage influencer Melissa Rain lively admits assault, pulls hair at London station. When PR experts resort to public brawling, it's hard to tell if they're promoting a fight club or just their own downfall.
Survey shows over 70% of new German citizens keep original nationality. Because nothing says commitment to a new nation like keeping your old passport handy just in case the bratwurst doesn't taste like home.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Qualcomm CEO declares AI agents inescapable, tracks you everywhere. Just when you thought your digital footprint was safe, it turns out it's actually a neon billboard on the information superhighway.
When the cure for mice hits the headlines, humans are left wondering if we're just the cheese in this scientific maze.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Friday the 5th of June 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth. Fictional satire, any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you may as well start stockpiling tinfoil hats. Hear more at Doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.